everyone, welcome to Aldo Meets, 24th episode. So it's 2 years old. So Peter just reminded me, but take no notice because he hasn't got a clue about it. This afternoon we've been joined by ex-Liverpool, ex-Red, local lad, Martin Kelly. And we're delighted to have you, pal.
Thank you.
Delighted to have you. I know you. We all know you've just hung your boots up. And I know from what happened to me, from my experience, it's not an easy part of life to go through. So you have to tell us what's been happening, because it's hard, isn't it, moving from where you are, coming out to that dressing room, to obviously getting up in the morning, not knowing what to have. You can actually have a big fly up, can't you? That's the one good thing you can have.
That's the one I've enjoyed the past few months. Yeah, that before playing golf. But yeah, it's been sort of a different process for me for not having played much football since sort of COVID.
Yeah.
So the process of retirement for me was obviously leaving Crystal Palace 2022, and then that was the first time I was a free agent, and then getting West Brom last day of the window. Being at West Brom under Steve Bruce, and then him getting sacked after 6 games, thinking I've come from the Premier League to playing Championship, to then not knowing who the next coach is. Carlos Corriban came in, who was an amazing coach. Just people skills wasn't really there. I guess you can't have everything unless you're at the top. Like to Pep, and Klopp was the best at that. So yeah, it was a gradual. Carlos came in. I never seen eye to eye with Carlos for whatever reason, so I went out on loan to Wigan. Hurt myself after 80 minutes in the first game. So then that was obviously overcoming an injury like an ACL that I'd only had previously at Liverpool at 22.
Yeah, I remember
so we had that second big injury at 32, 10 years on. So first and foremost, it was getting back to hopefully trying to get to play from returning from that injury. So the last year of that was getting fit and getting to a level where I felt I could carry on playing again. I think we were speaking off air. Then I went in to train with Salford and my old coach with Carl Robinson, and I took 2 weeks looking at League Two and said, I can't play in this league. I've worked too hard to get my knee right to be playing on these sort of pitches and I'd have been a target in that league.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah,
it was very physical. Carl plays a high line, and fair play to him. He plays a very good way of playing football in that league. But it wasn't what I wanted to play in to finish my career. So I started thinking about then what I was wanting to do, and I ended up sticking around for the whole season with Salford because I enjoyed being, like you said, in the changing room, but also being with the staff, with their meetings before training and after, to see how the club was run from the outside. So that was...
There's a lot of experience outside of that, isn't he? With obviously the players that are involved in there. And Carl's, he's such brighter than life, isn't he? He's a really good, like, big character. And he was telling me in the gym, like, he wanted to get a team with basically the predominantly Scousers or Merseyside and Manchester lads, and get the togetherness, and because the mentality of the two cities, the way they are, to proper dig in for each other. And it's worked for him to a certain degree, hasn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I think what I felt being in a League Two side was you then begin to realise how lucky he was. Being at Liverpool and then going to a side like Palace, which you see the differences straight away. But then you go to the League Two side and you see how much effort and how much the lads there on whatever wages they're on, they earn every penny. And how you said about Carl, he has this philosophy of and the right mindset to get them out of that league. But whether it's fatigue mentally in games or the lads who can't keep themselves fit for a period of time, it's usually away from football that you see. The lower you go down, you see that they can't sort of keep the consistency that you see higher up. So it was really good to see that, because the lads who I feel now who's played at sort of my level, who go into coaching and stuff like that, if you haven't seen the lower leagues, you don't know what it's like. So if you try going into that, you can't put yourself on their level and actually stamp your way of playing.
You went the opposite way to me. I was South Liverpool non-league. I went 4th division promotion, 3rd division, 2nd division, 1st division. So that's ideal.
Yeah.
But the way you've done it, it's not really ideal to go, because it's a different climate.
Yeah.
You know, even nowadays, you still try to play in certain areas, but it's much more direct, you know, different philosophies, different managers. And it's hard. That's why when some teams drop down, it's hard to get back, because it's such a difference, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess with you coming up through that setup as well, it gave you even more determination to not want to go back there as well, wouldn't it? And that was, I think, the mindset of the lads who do end up leaving the Premier League and going into the Championship, it can snowball pretty quick, because you're around really good players at the top level, aren't you? So as long as you know, keep yourself consistent and add value to the team, then staying at that level was the levels you see, and I've seen it, got a taste of it last year, and
that'll only be advantageous to you if you stay in the game. Obviously, coaching or whatever you decide to do, you just finished, but seeing that experience goes a long way. That's better than doing any badge, in many ways. The badges we used to get, just basically it's like putting a tie on and saying, I've done the badges, whatever. That's what we used to say, you know. Like, I'm a bit of a dinosaur and all that, but they're the experiences that you have to benefit from to make you a better coach. You know, not just the tactical stuff and all. You see that with the managers you've been with. You've been under some really good managers as well. You learn off them, you know. So let's hope, after you become a professional golfer, that's your first one.
That's 4 or 5 months.
What are you playing off, by the way?
Do you know what? I was speaking on the way in. Because of the setup that I'm playing under, we play all the hardest courses with the league going. I've not been able to get it down for like 4 months. It's just now the back end started to go down bit by bit. So it's like handicap of 11, 12 now.
Well, it's not bad though, is it?
I think if I can get to single digits next year, that'll be the aim. Yeah.
Don't look at me. I don't know nothing about golf.
And to be fair, I play paddle tennis, and he knows nothing about paddle tennis either. You know, he's absolutely shite.
Yeah, but I played with Sammy Lee.
You were all right.
To be fair, I played with Sammy and he couldn't reach.
You weren't bad.
He's even shorter than me.
I kept on loving Sammy Lee, but that wasn't hard. You know what I mean?
That is true.
But that's a game you've got to get into, by the way.
But Martin, earlier we just briefly touched on the fact that, like, obviously your retirement wasn't abrupt in that way. It was quite gradual. Not that you necessarily wanted it. Obviously, you wanted to get back to a certain level and play more. But with it being gradual, you think in a weird way you settled into the retired life. By now, you're effectively settled into it. It isn't really a completely new feeling.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I don't have any sense of loss from football, which I guess a lot of players have to fill this void. And with having that sort of 5 years of a gradual going into retirement, it's that, along with being at Liverpool through the academy, the intenseness of that club compared to a Palace. Looking back now was more than the right move, me going to a club like Palace, because it suited me, my character. And then being at Palace, you have to have the luck of being around great squads, and us just staying up for the first few seasons was good. But then to just have 2 clubs, and then, you know, having the West Brom, which was the first taste of being a free agent and being part of what I thought when I signed under Steve Bruce. I'd had a lot of managers like Steve Bruce, who was very good people's person. It was all, you know, they're set up to be a success off the back of leaving Palace. Football deals you with cards, and what you're given, you got to adapt all the time. So having that understanding, and always knowing that after football, whenever we have a Friday night meal and an away game with the players, and you're always talking about what you're going to do after. And the older you get with the new generation and the lads who I was with, you always get split 50-50. I don't want to be a part of football at all, or I want to stay in the game. I know that I've always wanted to stay in the game, and there's a lot of roles and pathways that you can go down in after football now. It's just been the past 18 months of trying to figure out what I want to jump into, with actually having the opportunity to go, I can have a little bit of time off and figure out what we're doing as a family and what I'm doing as a person and what I think could suit me. So it's been sort of exciting since the summer to have a bit of time to have that first summer holidays with the kids that I've never had. Looking forward to this first Christmas to have with the family and stuff like that you don't get with football. That it is exciting in many ways, and then just picking ultimately what route I want to go down into next.
And you've been a part of a couple of Liverpool Legends games already. How have you enjoyed that experience?
It's been great. I mean, our last one, thanks to yours
Down at
truly,
Stamford Bridge,
how
was that?
Those team talk before was amazing, but
the lads were excellent.
Was it a 1-0?
Going into that, we obviously we knew we were down to like 16 players, and we had like 3 goalkeepers. Didn't we? We had some great keepers. We had to play that let them in. So, but it's quite hard. So we're looking at the lads who like. Obviously, you can do 90 minutes. You just finished Martin. He can do 90 minutes. Stefan Henshaw's 15 minutes. He done very well, by the way. But the lads were absolute. Their team was ridiculous, and they picked all the players that you associate with big names that's been at the club, and we're looking, thinking. I'm sure the lads thought. And just a lot of them that were young. We had even Jason McAteer played half an hour. That's how bad it was. Sorry, Jay. He did brilliant. The lads stuck together because they sort of knew, and you yourself, it's going to take a big effort to get something out of it. And the lads won 1-0. We fully deserved it. Even John Terry came in after. He said, "You couldn't believe how good the lads was," and the attitude from that was unbelievable. And wanting to do it for Liverpool, on behalf of Liverpool Football Club at Chelsea, 30,000 people there. There was 3,500 Liverpool fans. It was a great experience for you, wasn't it?
I think for us as players to have the team talks from the likes of Rushy, Aldo, Sammy, who's been a big part of my career, and Tomo, that was ultimately what we were playing for, along with the fans who was there. But for I remember getting asked to play in this game first time this year.
In March,
against Chelsea at Anfield, and that ultimately made the decision on me finishing, because it was one of them where the guy who asked said stipulation is you've got to be retired, and I said I can't miss this opportunity when my 2 girls haven't seen me play at Anfield. They were there for my Palace years, and only got told that I was a Liverpool player. So when we first moved back up north, and we went to the same school as Andy Robertson and Salah and the legends of Liverpool, my daughter would come home being in the same class as them and be like, "Dad, did you actually play for Liverpool?" Did you
get the YouTube video up?
Robert, I was like, "Well, yeah, I did." But it was just so nice for me personally, for my daughters to see me play at a full house.
That's lovely. That's great.
At Liverpool, so that the experiences of them legend games.
That's a great story, that, mate.
For us was massive.
Yeah, and I love the fact you're still playing for fun on a Tuesday evening. Can you tell us a bit about that? Because there's this game. It's on a 4G and then near Manchester
I'm
Airport.
missing tonight. I'm gutted with us doing this podcast today.
There's quite a few ex-Premier League footballers, isn't there? Who else is involved in that?
So basically, a couple of lads who organised this WhatsApp group on a Tuesday night over on a 7-a-side pitch in Manchester is for the lads who are in and out of contract or out of got 6 weeks off with a club. Along with ex-players, and 2 lads run a WhatsApp group of 75 ex-pros or semi-pros, and you get 2 teams out on a Tuesday morning of white bibs, black bibs, no refs, you ref it yourself, and the names, it's sort of a WhatsApp group where when the WhatsApp admin puts his message out, you put your name back in to then say that you're available. So then the team goes straight away, and then they figure out what the teams are. So every Tuesday we play for an hour over at Manchester Sports Village, I think it is, and the lads there.
Is it 11-a-side? Yeah,
11-a-side on the 7-a-side pitch, so it's quite tight. It's the right size for lads who have finished, and it's not big massive spaces that we get. It's never a 6-goal deficit. It's always within 1 goal, and it's always ref properly, and all the right, Premier League balls being played.
Because you're refereeing it yourself.
Exactly, yeah. That's the thing, yeah.
You don't need VAR if you referee yourself.
It's that hour of and after we all sit down, take our boots off, what are you up to now? And everyone's all doing different things. And that's been to have that on a Tuesday now to my wife.
That counsels you as well, because when you come out of football, it's your head's everywhere. You honestly, you don't know, because it's been your life. So if you're mixing with a lot, that's just bringing you down to the reality, and you're getting bits off each other. That's a great idea to ever put that. That's brilliant.
You got the lads who are all going through what you are as well.
Absolutely,
so some will be doing the Punditry, some will be doing the coaching, some will everyone's doing their own thing, and then it's a get together for an hour every Tuesday. So yeah, I missed tonight, but hopefully I get back in next week.
Who else? Because you said Umar Niasse plays on the ex-Everton.
Yeah, Umar Niasse is usually up front
Papi
on the whites for me. Papi
Mm-hmm.
Cisse, I'm usually marking him each week. We've got Danny Simpson, Dale Stevens, George Boyd, Danny Drinkwater, Phil Bardsley, Jolien Lescott, Nathan Manua. The list is really good. It's really competitive. I've probably missed a few out there that we're fuming for.
And the losers pay for the pitch, is that right?
Yeah, so
the losers pay for the pint.
What's on it is the pitch is £110, so it's a tenner a month.
I like that. That's great.
It's surprising how much the last 2 minutes, if it's 0-0, you'll get people trying to score goals.
Brilliant.
And Martin, as you kind of consider your options for the next chapter in life, I know you've done UEFA B license. You're going to do the A license. Are you thinking that you could potentially go down the managerial route?
Yeah, I think the next 18 months to 2 years is going to be in that sort of period where I want to start getting my A license at some setup, whether that's at an academy level or in a team such as Salford, who was a big part of me understanding that I wanted to stay in the game last season. So my old coach, Carl Robinson, who's there, he's asked me to come in next week just to see if there's anything that I feel I can help to that side. And
that'd be good.
He's got one of the ex-Liverpool players, Verena, who I asked him. We go to the same school, and when he was, I said go into Salford if he was at the point where he wanted to carry on playing. And I said, the setup there was brilliant, and Carl he's very good at managing players, so he's ended up signing for the club, and he could be the one who gets him out of that league ultimately. But I think a role in coaching has done a little bit of punditry last year, which I found really good, but there's no winning and losing that we're used to as players. So
was that for LFC TV? Right?
Yeah, there's that just a little bit with them and Five Live Talksport, but it was good. But that as you go into that sort of stuff, that's full time as well. There's a lot of research that you need to do with that. I just found that being on the grass or being with people, I like being in a dressing room environment. Or I think definitely for the next couple of years, I want to try and see if that pathway takes me down there or not.
Naturally, with this podcast, we obviously speak to players that either have just finished their career or finished it a little longer ago. A lot of them, we ask the question about management roles in the future or where they want to go, naturally. But we also, and John has on previous podcasts talked about the stresses to do with being a manager or involved with management when it's quite intense.
Oh, yeah.
Do you really need that back in your life? You seem quite content with your refound family life, with a bit of punditry, with the golf, I mean, management seems very full on from what other... and I
think sometimes you got to give it a go. There's a lot of likes of myself, Steve Mann, Ronnie Whelan in particular. We done our bits and bobs, and I'm not the level you'd like to, but it gives you great experience, and it's hard. You've got to rob Peter to pay Paul. It's not like a Bolton where if you get them up there, you can get like 25,000 or a team like that. It's a sleeping giant type of thing. So it's tough, but I always wanted to give myself a chance and see how long I lasted. But I knew when it was time to get out of it, because you make yourself ill. It's 24/7. You go into bed with no boots, you can't sleep, you know, and you think sometimes is it worth it? You're doing it for the club and the fans and the players. You know, your family suffers. But unless you'd have a go. See, some people are different. Some people say, I take it home. Some people don't take it home. You know, you might know how to shut it off and deal with it there, not take it home. That's the best way, I would say, to anyone who goes into management, you know. But then you've got to try it out at the same time. If you really, you know, think it's what you want.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The work-life balance, you know, at the minute, the little amount of work that I'm doing, but having that sort of honeymoon period of finishing and having the long holidays with the family and stuff like that is great. And when I do go back in, that's why I haven't jumped straight at it. It's got to sort of suit us as a family now.
And in your career, just before our first little interval, like who were the managers that you look back on and you think, if I got into management and made it in management, who were the ones that gave you bits that really stuck that you thought, yeah, that's
I think
good.
you're looking at maybe the best tactician, motivator, coach type of thing, you know, them sort of things. Or one manager wrapped in all of them. I don't know what would be the best ones.
I was very lucky to have a lot of good managers and learn a lot of amazing things from whom I had. Brendan was a real sort of turning point in the managerial sort of status in the Premier League, where he had a very good philosophy along with his man management was amazing. So it was usually sort of one or the other, with the likes of Rafa, who gave him a debut, was very good tactician. As a young player coming through, was very hard to sort of.
We've heard about his man management skills. Some other people wasn't the best.
Well, being under Carlos Corriban, who was also Spanish, you understand that sometimes that could be just the way of how they're sort of from a tactical point of view. They are light years ahead of anyone else, in my opinion, the Spanish. So it was. I think Roy was massive in my career, who had his own way of playing. Would also have this way about him where if he had a 25-man squad to manage, no one would ever be frustrated with Roy. That he was that type of person that could just, whoever the personality was in the dressing room, he could handle in a way where you always felt like you could be playing the next game, which I think if you could get something like that as a team, that's where you sort of pull together. The teams under Roy, you always felt in games, we could always get something out of it. And I think he was a really good sort of hybrid in both, along with Brendan. But the man managers, the Sam Allardyces was fantastic. Steve Bruce, even though it was six games, but Steve, Alan Pardew was a very good man manager. It was even Patrick Vieira had that sort of. Yeah, of course. He had a presence about him where you wanted to, as if Steven Gerrard was your manager. He walked in the room and you wanted to impress him. But he also had the tactical awareness for the modern game and wanted to play, out from the back, stuff like that. I think if he'd have took the role on 18 months further on, without some of us who were square pegs in round holes, he would have done a lot better. He's still managing now, and he's got that book to stay in the game, and he's definitely got the knowledge to do it. But I've been blessed to be coached under some very good coaches and managers.
Hopefully he's give you the insight to go on yourself and have a bit of both, get a bit of everyone, But that's the end of part one of Aldo Meets. Martin Kelly, Peter Schriewersmann, and James Pearce. So we'll see you in a sec.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was sent far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in a Highland division.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Aldo Meets, and we've been kiboshed by a good old friend of mine in Mr. Steve McMahon. Maka.
How are we doing, boys?
Very good. How are you, Steve?
I've heard a little bit of it. It looks fab. Sounds rubbish, but it looks all right.
So, yes, he's kiboshed on Martin Kelly's podcast. But it's good to have him. He's only come for the free ale, nothing else. So that's all right.
I've come to hear from somebody who talks the right stuff, not the crap
Well,
you talk.
the early days, then, Mark, your early days, obviously you're from Newton the Willows, which is just off the roundabout in Warrington. I know where it is, yeah. Nice little place.
Woolly Backland.
And your dad was a Man United fan. That must have been hard for you growing up.
Yeah, I mean, the first game I got took to was City Bolton because he couldn't afford the United tickets. So there was a game that I got took to at Main Road. And it was City. It was early 90s.
Yeah,
You might have
early
played.
90s. You might
I'd
have
have been
played.
playing.
Well, Bolton beat City by a
Well, I
good
wasn't
margin.
playing then.
Just jumped in front of you.
So I sort of said, Dad, I want to support the team in white.
Nice.
And then I was season ticket holder at Burndon Park at an age where I was stood on the seat to watch the game with not, doing anyone's heading behind. And then that got knocked down, and I'd done the first few seasons at Reebok. And then ultimately, as the age groups progressed through under 11s, 12s, 13s at the academy, we got tickets to the games at Anfield. So I was at every game there, and then I remember the first game we got took to the final at the Millennium Stadium, the Gerrard sort of last minute one against
West
West
Ham.
Ham.
Oh, yeah.
You got a ticket.
We got.
You couldn't get a ticket.
I think we were under 14s or 15s at the time, and that goal went in. And all day the lads were like, "Come on, you're a Liverpool fan now." And then that goal went in, and it was sort of like, "Listen, well, I am, yeah."
Stevie G done that for a lot of people when he made them Liverpool fans, didn't he?
That day out for us as kids, just even.
And then for you to train with him, Steve?
Yeah, that was. I mean, even to this day, people ask me who the best player played with, and people always presume it'll be Suarez or Torres. But Stevie was hands down. He could do stuff that no other player could do, that you could see in training as well as on a match day. So he was also a great role model for the younger ones who, I think, at my time when I came through, we were itching for someone to come through after the Fowlers and Gerrards and Carragers. So it was ultimately a little bit of luck plus the dedication and talent that I had where I got my chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you get spotted by Liverpool?
At an Alan Kennedy soccer school. Yeah, so up in Newton the Willows, I was.
Was he ever there?
I never met Alan. I never met him, so he wasn't there. But there were scouts there, and I got.
It's funny. Honestly, it's strange how many players put their names to an academy, and they don't really turn up. And I think that's wrong fundamentally. You have to show your face, and you have to be there occasionally. Not all the time, but you certainly have to show your face and look as though you're keen enough. There's too many that put their names to certain academies, coaching sessions, schools, and don't really turn up. And I think that's fundamentally wrong with players or ex-players. Yeah.
Well, I think, later on in my career when I was over at Anfield and I would see Alan, I was the first to go over to him and say, listen, if it wasn't for you... Yeah, exactly. Where have you been? Well, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have got my chance to play for a club like Liverpool.
Yeah. So how old were you then when you first joined?
7. We used to train at nights at Melwood. After the first team had left, we'd train on a Tuesday and Thursday nights. And at the time, before I could sign, I think it was 8, he was allowed to sign papers. I was there at Manchester City. So I had to choose between the two and sign for Liverpool. And Billy Bygroves was my first coach.
What a fella.
Yeah.
Billy
was...
What was he like as a coach? People just think of him now as the club chaplain.
Yeah. Well, I think then is when you're that age, you want to be coached by someone. And looking back, you didn't know it as a kid, but someone who made it fun.
Yeah.
And Billy was that person who, even before we went out, he had his guitar out. We all had turns of singing songs before we went out. So to have someone like Billy there as your first coach was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had Aaron Cresswell in your year group, was that right, before he got released?
Yeah, we had Aaron who got let go for being too small, I think it was under 16s, yeah. Bobby Grant, who played lower league, John Aldridge, who went on, he played for Wigan and the Welsh leagues, but I always played up with the the lads who had the dream team, who was the next crop coming through.
So that'd have been like Jay Spearing, that type.
Yeah, Jay Darbs.
He was too small.
I was about to say, why did he not get released? It's tiny.
I think it obviously in coaching it must come down to your coach at the time, and at the time where Jay was in maybe a better side than what Aaron was in. I don't know. Football's funny in that sense.
It's amazing. It's amazing now, James, and the detail they go into academies and just, they've actually gone through the family tree, and they look at your family, look at how small or how tall.
There's actually a method. There's a Chinese method or something.
There's a way of finding out whether
they're going to be 21.
Whether this young lad is going to be 4'8" or 6'2", and there's a way of finding out. And in their opinion, given the data that they have, then it's easy for them to say, "Oh, you're going to be too small," and chuck them on the heap too early, rather than just go with it and see how it develops. Because there's always somebody is the exception to the rule, and they're far too early to throw youngsters on a bonfire.
We know, like in these instances, at clubs, that if they're going to pick one player from two, they can't decide. They'll use this method and go, well, he's going to be like another inch bigger than but strong. Then they'll go, mad anyway, you think about it. But that's been going on for some time.
Yeah, it has. It's been going on for a long time.
I think from Aaron's point of view as well, I always remember Aaron having this amazing left foot, and he always loved to tackle. He was that sort of tenacious player that I'd sort of based my game off, and it was a shock when he left, but obviously he's gone on to have.
Well, he had a good career, didn't he?
Amazing career,
yes. And obviously during your teenage years, you had to overcome a fair bit of adversity with the back problem you had. It was like kind of 14 to 16. It pretty much kind of derailed your progress a bit.
Yeah, at 14, I got told that I had a double stress fracture in my back, and for 6 months I was meant to really cut down on playing. So being still in school at that age, I was going to physio at the academy, but then I was playing for school. I was still, playing on the park every day. I just couldn't stop football. So it came to the point where I had to get it operated on. And I think to a point where I got to see this specialist in Nottingham with Dr. McNally, who was our head doctor at the time. And they asked the question of, is this lad, has he got a high percentage of making a career in the game? So I think Steve Highway passed it off that I could have that chance of playing. So they operated on me and fused my back in L5. Wow. So I've been very hypermobile, so I think that helped sort of like me, Dan Agger, who was we're very similar in terms of the hypermobility can go against you in certain ways. So I think that created the stress fracture growing very a lot within them 2-year period. So having that operation made I couldn't carry on playing then. I had to stop for that bit of time, and that helped me have the rest. And then touch wood, I never felt it once in my career.
Well,
so
correct me if I'm wrong, Stevie G had a lot of problems as well, didn't he?
He had the growing pains.
And that results in you either playing too early or too much, and he had to calm down a little bit as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it's just so difficult when you're that age and you come from sort of just a footballing background, and that is your life. That was my life every day from school, and the obsession was there. Like a load of other players, it's so you can't tell at that age to stop playing.
Well, you doing karate as well? Was you at that age you were doing karate as well? Or was that afterwards?
Yeah, both. Yeah, I had to give that up.
I'm going to say, would that have doing the karate with the football? Would that have coincided with what happened?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think ultimately I had this growth spurt during year 9, year 10.
Okay.
And I grew. I was a late developer and just shot up, and that's the time where you need to get managed. And I think looking at the players now coming through the academy, is it Jaden Dans?
He's had some.
I think he's had a stress fracture.
Yes, yeah.
Hopefully now the data's there and the stuff, he'll get managed a lot better than.
Yeah.
Even though I was managed, I was left to my own devices when I left the academy. So I think with Jaden, he's similar in terms of he's shot straight up, and he just needs that period of time for you need your body to
It's crazy,
to
isn't
develop
it?
it.
Somebody never had that problem.
Did you feel under extra pressure when you came back from after the first year of your scholarship, you effectively missed due to injury? How did you feel afterward? Were you just keen to get back in, or was it pressure? You thought,
it was massive pressure, and I still remember the first game back I played. It was on the centre pitch at the academy, and we played an Irish side, and I could have got sent off, and I gave a penalty away. We lost 3-0. And I remember my best mate coming with his dad and my old man, and I thought, all the hard work that I'd done prior to that through the academy and being picked up, I thought that was a sort of realisation moment of, you've got 12 months now to make this right. And it was my first game back, and you're going to have cobwebs. Well, that was a sort of wake-up call to go, what are you going to do next? And then what happened after that was I played in the youth team cup that we went on to win, but I played in the quarters, I think, against Newcastle, and I only came on for 12 minutes and won a couple of headers against Andy Carroll. And that's where Gary Ablett was watching. And he was at Melwood the following year with the reserves, and that's when I think got me the call up to go and train with the reserves the following, when I was 18. I got the call up. So
helped them win the league.
Yeah, that was a big sort of accomplishment back then, when our reserves back then, we would play, say, on a Tuesday night. We had the Warrington Ball Stadium, that was our home pitch. We'd play United, and that'd be full, sold out. And I'd play against the likes of PK. It was in the United reserves. And for my development at that time, it was a very close comparison to going out on loan. Whereas now you see it, and if I do want to get into coaching, you see it's now under 21s, and they don't have any first team experience until you go out on loan to a League Two side like a Salford, and it's a massive wake-up call for the young lads. So. And
then suddenly you're 18, you're sharing a dressing room with Stevie G and Cara, and then you get your debut under Benitez against Eindhoven in the Champions League. I mean, that's mental, really, isn't it? Absolutely mad.
Yeah, prior to that.
Any memories of that at all?
We'd had a few games in the build up to that of being on the bench, and I know that was a massive thing for us as academy lads. And there was me, Jay, and Stephen Darby, who was the three that were tipped to sort of be given a chance. And Darbs, I think, started that game, and me and Jay came on. But for us to be winning, and I think that helped. And then I just remember coming on thinking, for 10 minutes, don't give the ball away, and all the practice and stuff, and the crowds. But because you was in it together, it really helped. You didn't feel like you was on your own coming through. I had Jay, I had Darbs, who was there at the time, and we sort of had that click where we obviously had the lads who were leading by example, Stevie and Cara, along with another really good core group of players. But it was what you'd worked for as a kid. As a kid, I dreamt every day playing for Liverpool. So,
have you ever heard the noise when you give the ball away in Anfield? Oh, for fuck's sake, man! I remember.
I've never heard it.
I don't know who's going to say never give it away. I remember that. I don't know what game it was. Probably my first game. The ball's come up, and I've held it up. I've done a blind pass, for the right winger, blind pass, and it's gone to intercept it, and all of a sudden whoa! It's like it's fucking horrible, by the way. I tell you what, I never give many away after that, by the way. Because the cop and the fact they let you know, don't they, straight away, if you go pass away or you do something daft maybe. But I'll never forget that all my life, that noise when I give that ball away. I shit me kicks, by the
way. I'm not surprised. And then you play with Suarez, Torres. I mean, it's just, that's it then. How does that feel to play with them? And who did you rate the most amongst all the big names that you played with during that era of Liverpool?
I think as a lad coming through, to be up against them in training was better for my development. Be every day in training, they were both amazing at what they did, but completely different in certain ways. When Fernando first came, he gave you that sort of something that you'd never seen before, the lightning pace.
Over 5 yards.
Yeah, exactly. The finishing was pretty unorthodox, but he was a very big moment player. I think Stevie was crying out for someone like that to play off and to play his balls, his visions that he had. Suarez again was just, it was so unlucky with being at Liverpool at the time he was with. And I know I loved my time at Liverpool, but I was at Liverpool at a time where it was going through sort of a different phase of the success, and then going through this moment of being unsuccessful, and even for us to win the Carabao Cup at the time, for us, for me as an academy product was massive. But you didn't see that at the time because you understood how much Liverpool were used to. These boys will tell you how much they used to win it.
Well, the clowns got involved, didn't he, from America, didn't he? Ix and Gillette, didn't he? Which didn't help as well.
That's where you understood sort of everything above you, and the way a club's ran is so. The impact ultimately as everything that follows down from that is what happens, doesn't it? So since Fenway's come in, and it's only been good, hasn't it? Yeah,
that must have been hard as a player when obviously you got fan protests and all that kind of disharmony off the pitch. It must have some kind of impact in the dressing room as well.
Yeah, I think I was young enough to not really understand the politics of football then.
Yeah,
sort of at an age where you was just happy to play football and be part of a giant of a side, being Liverpool. But when the older you get, you understand that football, there's a lot of politics in football that comes with it. So at the time, then the one thing you do know about the Liverpool fans, and this always, I know I left Palace in 2022, but when I got the news that they were going to be giving up the Europa League place to play in the conference, I just thought if that was Liverpool, that wouldn't have happened. Like I just thought the fans and the way that pull that they have, it made me realise how big of the fans are at Liverpool, and that they are the club.
Yeah, and then obviously Rafa goes, Roy Hodgson comes in. You know, it's a pretty tough period in the club's history, that, and Roy doesn't last long. How do you look back on that period? Do you think it was he the wrong man at the wrong time, or do you think it was just, you know, it would have been almost impossible for anyone at that point? How do you look back on his reign?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, the magnitude of the job for Roy was, I mean, Roy's managed Inter Milan, done really well there, so he's managed big clubs, but to come to Liverpool and be in a place where you don't have the budget, you've got to sign free agents. We got a few in that era, along with a core group of British players. It was difficult, and then playing, you know, the fans aren't used to playing on a Thursday night in the Europa League, are they, at Liverpool? So for us to play in that under Roy, it was difficult, and having Roy as a manager, he definitely has all the attributes to manage a top club. You've seen that with him, you know, getting the opportunity to manage at England. So it wasn't the best of times for him personally. For me personally, I played a lot of Europa League games when he was there, so for my development that helped. But I think as a person, he only felt to do and try his best at a club that was a huge task. Yeah,
it's fair to say the mood was transformed when Kenny came in early 2011. What was that like, suddenly finding yourself playing for such an icon of the club?
It added a level of pressure, I think, at the time, with understanding what Kenny had done for the club and being such a legend. I think Steve Clark helped coming in as his assistant, because he was a lot hands-on with the sessions that we were doing on a day-to-day basis. So it was a time where you felt like you needed to win something for him, and he got that run going in the Carabao Cup that we ended up getting the Carling Cup, it was called back then, that we ended up getting the win for him.
You scored the vital goal in that, didn't you? Was it against Chelsea?
Yeah, the Stamford Bridge run, me on goal for Liverpool. But it was one of them that we went on the run to end up winning that. Yeah. So it was nice to be part of that side back in 2012. That was, looking back now as I've retired, you see them memories and just hold on to them.
Yeah, and then of course you're there at the start of the Brendan Rodgers era as well. You started his first game, didn't you, at West Brom, but then you went. Then I guess what really kind of killed you in terms of momentum was the ruptured ACL against United.
Yeah, I went that summer. Was lucky enough to get a call up with Gary Cahill breaking his jaw for the Poland-Ukraine Euro. So I was part of that squad with a lot of the Liverpool players were part of that squad. Stewie, Downey, Andy Carroll, Jordan, Stevie. So it was then coming back to the pre-season and Brendan really wanted to give me a go at starting the season at fullback. So to have that opportunity and to start that well whilst negotiating, I think that was my first big contract. That was for me. That was massive. And then after I think it was the 6th or 7th game against United in stoppage time, I obviously do my ACL, and you dealt with that. But to be fair to Brendan at the time, he still gave me the contract that was on the table. So he had that faith in me that I was still only 22 and that he wanted me there for what I felt then was going to be the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And is it true that there was a clause in there with the wages potentially being reduced if the same injury would occur again, or
even
another
we had
injury?
Obviously the guys at Fenway who was probably used to them sort of clauses in baseball and NFL. That's pretty normal. So I did have a clause in my contract that basic wage would go down if I was injured once being back fit from my ACL. After 4 weeks, I'd get a 40% decrease, I think it was. So that, looking back, was definitely added pressure going, because you could get smashed in training and end up being out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So that was, but I was happy taking that on because it was never about. It was always about getting back fit and trying to be given another chance in Liverpool's first team.
And then summer 2014, 62 appearances for Liverpool. You joined Palace for 2 million. Was that more a case of, Palace obviously a very formidable team as well, but to actually get that game time and proper play all the time?
Yeah, I realised it. I had 3 years left on my contract then, and I realised that if I wanted to play in the Premier League, I needed to go somewhere else other than Liverpool. The game had passed. I needed that first year after an ACL of sort of getting all the rubbish out, and you don't have the time at Liverpool to do that. So I think it was a very mutual decision from both parties of who wanted me. And I remember seeing Carrie's shirt up on the wall there, speaking to Jamie and him saying, I had Sunderland and Palace, who were the two teams, and he said go to Palace because Tony Pulis will keep up. And I signed for Palace, and he left the next day, which was brilliant.
Nothing personal, but
it was one of them that
the next day.
Yeah. There was still a reel on YouTube of me doing my interview, and then it going straight to Sky Sports of him leaving. So it worked out in the end, but it was.
I think on that note, that's the end of part 2. Aldo Meets. We'll be back shortly.
Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was sent far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in a Highland division.
Welcome back to part 3, final part of today's podcast. Aldo Meets with myself, Kells, James, Peter, and Bill. That's his nickname, Bill. He might tell you that later on why. After Tony Pulis, unfortunately left after 24 hours when you were there. He actually went on to have 8 years at Palace, 148 times. And good affinity with the club. Good fans, aren't they? I've always found them really good fans, the Palace fans.
My first seeing the fans was the night that we went where we drew 3-3. I was 19th man that game, and I hadn't witnessed that other than a European night here at Anfield.
They really get behind it. It's a proper old-fashioned stadium, and they've all been there having it the way they get on top of it, haven't they?
They've got the ultras in the back behind the home cell, and really good set of fans. They deserve it. I think they've had planning pass for years, since 2015 now, for at least an extension. So they're well due to get that done, I think. But yeah, they were brilliant to play under.
And then you had players like Zaha and Balassi. Was they at the same time?
Yeah. So our first few seasons was all about staying in the Premier League, and our game plan was a group of individuals that back when I played in 2014 with Palace. I say that as if that was decades ago, but I guess it wasn't. But when you're on the pitch, sometimes you're not getting shouted on tactics. Yeah, you've got a group of players that need to figure out on the pitch how to win the game. Yeah. So we had the likes of Mile Jednat, Jason Punchin, James MacArthur, Joel Ward, Scott Dan, who were them types of players who understood the game enough to be able to get something out of the game. And our two focal points was Balassi on one wing, Wilfred on the other. So we ended up always staying safe in the league by 3 or 4 games to go in the Premier League the first few seasons. And then you started to see the owner, Steve Parish, who was amazing for the club because of how connected he was to the fans plus players. He started having a go at the management side of it, and his recruitment from Dougie was amazing, really, looking back at it. He got in and sort of added very cleverly in a way where if they do well there, then he can go to the next top team. And it was obviously a very well way of running the club, but it was good to be part of. I was up against, as a fullback again, up against Wilfred Balassi every day, Michael Elise, Eze towards the end of my time there. So it was, as a defender, they still never got past me that many times neither.
You would have crossed paths, would you? Dare I say, Simon Jordan?
No, I was after.
Was he not?
I was after, yeah.
So was he not part of the...
No, he'd sold. He took, I think, when Simon left, Palace went into administration, and then a group of fans bought...
Led by Steve Parish.
Led by Steve, and they got them out of administration. The next season, I think that's when they won the playoffs in the Championship to come to the Premier League. And then that's when I signed in 2014.
And in terms of establishing a bond with the fans, it helps when you score a winner against Tottenham in the FA Cup in 2016, because that was en route. Palace got to the final that year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think my time at Palace, looking back, was amazing, but it was always hard fought, and it came back to the days of Liverpool and the way that you got coached from all your coaches to have a standard set out for yourself, to understand that you are so lucky being a professional footballer. But I think at Palace I was in the side, and then if someone had been bought for more than me, or if someone was knocking on the manager's door every week, they'd go back in. What I didn't do was go the other way and want to leave. I got my own coach. I stayed as fit as I could, and what I did well was if I was out the side for 10 games, that one game I was back in, I played really well, so I'd stay in for a few games. So that's how I think, looking back, when Dougie told me, he said, Kels, if I needed to replace you, I'd have to spend back in 2017, 18, 9 million quid to get someone who's a third choice centre back who would might moan who's not playing. So I think that suited the club as well as I was happy. I wasn't happy not playing, but I was always hopeful that I would get a chance, and my chance after not playing for a long time was the Tottenham game. Yeah. So I hadn't played for a bit before then, and that was my chance of trying to show Alan Pardew at the time why I should be playing. So I stayed in the game I stayed in the side for a few games after that, and that's just how it worked out until Roy came in, where I played a little bit more. But it was that run for the team, because the last time Palace got into the FA Cup final was the 90s. When Alan was a player. So for us to get the final, and obviously lost it in extra time.
It was 4-3.
Yeah.
Semi-finals.
Yeah.
Alan Pardew played in it.
Right and right.
We beat them. We beat them
Palace 9-0.
9-0.
Same season,
We only maybe 7 weeks beforehand.
Right.
We played Palace in the semi-finals, FA Cup, and everyone thought it was a foregone conclusion. And it wasn't, because in football, nothing is. and they just went. We talk about throw-ins and long balls, and they were the artists of it. And every goal they scored against us was through a corner kick, throw-in, free kick, and it's just non-stop. And that's obviously the way they played to get them out of a hole all the time. Because they knew if they tried to play against the top teams, they couldn't. And they probably got relegated.
Similar to what we're seeing now at the club, isn't it?
Yeah, very similar.
In many ways.
With better players.
Yeah. How did you find going back to Anfield with Palace? I think you won 3 times at Anfield, I think, under Brendan and then Jurgen. What was that experience like being an opposition player?
The first time was strange, and I got a lot of stick off the Palace fans because we obviously won, but I didn't celebrate. Just out of sheer respect to Liverpool and where I came through.
And they picked up on the fact that you weren't.
Yeah, because Scotty Dan scored the winner and walked past me, and I sort of turned to face to go straight to the centre circle. But that was just showing the respect to the fans that they deserve. But we did ultimately do well against that side because we were very good at the counter attack. And if you beat the high press of
Benteke as well, was that the year he scored 2?
That was the following. I think there was a couple of seasons.
Bogey side.
It did become that until I think I don't know if it was the COVID year where Salah scored.
I think they've become back our bogey side at the moment. Yeah. We can't find it.
A lot of bogey sides recently.
And what about Mark Gay? Because your time would have overlapped a little bit with it, a year or so with him. Obviously, there's so much talk about he came close to joining Liverpool last summer. Talk about he could potentially join him on a free next summer. Yeah. But what is he like? And do you think he would be the kind of perfect new addition for Liverpool?
I think for any top 4 side in the Premier League, he would be my number 1 target as a defender anywhere. Me and James Tompkins always talk about it now, and James Tompkins retired in the summer with me. He played over 350 Premier League games, and we were both behind him and Joachim Andersen under Patrick Vieira, watching in awe of these kids, because every part of Mark's game was spot on in terms of his mental side of the game, through how he understood when he was receiving a ball where it was going next, both footed, to his art of defending and being able to defend without going to ground. A lot of the best defenders don't go to ground.
He's not big physically, is he?
No, he's not big physically, and to watch his attributes along left foot, right foot, his vision of the game, his comfortableness, starting from goal kicks and starting passages of play, and his 1v1 defending, along with him as a person. It was because we had our first Christmas night out and brought Mark out. He just joined with us, and us old school lads were trying to get drinks down him, and he was just so focused on never drank in his life, and we got him a drink in a bar in London. And his mindset was sort of, you see the new generation coming through now. It was good to watch, to see us learning between us playing that many Premier League games. We were learning off a kid who'd just been on loan at Swansea the year before, I think, and we were going, this kid's going to be the best England defender.
Imagine what he'd like if he drank.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be
exactly.
And just that never happened in holiday, mate.
No, he wouldn't be allowed out.
And just before we move on to our quiz, the last part of our little podcast here today with you, Martin, a little bit about your experience with England. So officially, I read the shortest England career in history. Yeah. So you had the shortest manager one day, the shortest England career. Yeah. But most players never get to realize the dream to start with. So how was it? Short but sweet.
Yeah, I mean, including stoppage, I think James was the first person to quiz me on this and giving me the facts of being the shortest. But I came on with a couple of minutes ago, and then we had stoppage time. But to actually, the relief of getting an England cap it wasn't. Whenever I was growing up, I always dreamed about trying to play for Liverpool. And England then and still is now, for every kid's dream to play for your country is the biggest thing, an achievement you can do as well. But it was an added bonus for me at the time to be part of that squad in 2012, and then to play, albeit once. I played, I don't know, about 12 times in the 21s, and went to an under-20 World Cup and played for the 19s. So I'd come through the age groups of the England setup, but to get that achievement and to have that one cap that's still there.
Well, don't forget, there's thousands upon thousands of footballers that wanted to get that one cap.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
And it's on display, yeah? You got it framed?
Yeah, it's up in the back room that we've got. So it's
because I'm not sure what the German equivalent is, but when Steve came and brought one of his caps here. Anyway, we're not going there. That is a 2 out of 10 Duolingo right there. But I honestly, being a bit ignorant, being German, not knowing the English game so much, I thought the cap was just a term of a game, effectively, and then you brought an actual cap, and it dawned on me that's an actual cap.
I think England gave a cap for every appearance. Yeah. When I was in the Republic for the 10 years, it was over a year, the span of a year. You got one cap with the number of times you played on the cap. So I've got like 10 caps. But that's what I think with England. Did you get a cap for every game, or did they stop that? Yeah. So
every game you played, yeah. Not just the tournament you played in, it was every game.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Because now, if you, what you need to do is only recently they've given out one special cap for.
It was that last game, wasn't it?
Every player gets a cap, a red cap, and it gives you what, say you were 1,500 in the table
when you play
players, you'll get a special one-off cap to say you were the 1,500th player.
Oh, wow.
Chris Kirky got it, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I'm due one. I was 1,001. I was the 1,001st player to get an England cap, so you will get one. I don't know what number you'll be, but you'll be entitled to a special red cap. You know, the way they give out in rugby union and cricket. That's what you'll be getting.
Oh wow!
It's nice that you found that out. It's a bonus, isn't it? I'm glad you come now.
It's very special. It's a fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. And it's the first time in 24 episodes anyone actually learned anything useful from it. Here we go.
I made all week.
The quiz. Yeah, about the quiz.
No,
it's infamous. Yeah. 6 questions, obviously, because we've won the European Cup 6 times, which we're very proud of, all of us. Who's got the most? Someone gets 6 out of 6?
Recent.
You should know.
Yeah,
Bruce done well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is this on Liverpool or on me?
Yeah, no, on both.
You knew the answers before.
Liverpool,
You should be alright.
No,
I think
I could be the first one to get
did you
0
get
as well.
Steve Nicol got 0.
Yeah. To be fair, he was on 6 pints by the end of the podcast. So,
I think more points than question.
You got a sympathy
6
point.
pints, 0 points.
It was brilliant. The bumper was brilliant, wasn't it?
Go for it, James.
Right. Number 1. On the night you made your Liverpool debut against PSV Eindhoven in 2008, who scored his first goal for Liverpool that night?
A bit easy for you, Chris.
I thought he scored many more after that, actually.
No clues. No clues. He played in the game.
Was he?
Was a player.
Was he French?
He was.
David N'Gog.
Correct.
Yeah, well done.
Boom.
Yeah.
So I can't.
That's
come
one.
No,
It's half a point.
Number 2. Against which opponent did you feature the most times for Liverpool? So there was one team you faced more than any other team among those 62 appearances.
Oh wow.
Some would say it was quite a big game.
Big
as well.
name. Big name.
Big name. Big, long name.
It's got that. They're from London, aren't they?
No.
This is half a point
of
if you get it now.
Everton.
Man United.
Man U, yeah, of course.
5 times.
Right. Number 3. The first Merseyside derby you played in was a 2-2 draw at Anfield in January 2011. Dalglish's first home game since he returned as manager. Who scored a penalty that day to salvage a point for Liverpool?
I know,
January 2011, striker salvaged a point
I
for
think
Liverpool.
I got concussed this game by Victor Anichiva.
Were you in the dressing room at the
No,
time?
I was on the pitch, but I should have come off.
So we can't remember.
I cannot remember who scored the equaliser for us, so I'm going to have to guess, aren't I? Dirk.
Yes, correct.
Wow.
Well done, you got it.
Right. Number 4, your Liverpool goal against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Who provided the assist?
Craig Bellamy.
Correct. Who did you make your final Liverpool appearance against in February 2014?
Should get that. You know
United.
your debut and you know your last game.
You also played for this team.
Oh, yeah.
Still doesn't know it.
20 the West Brom.
West Brom, yeah. And finally, who made who made more Liverpool appearances, you or Andy Carroll?
Wouldn't have been Andy Carroll, trust me.
Yeah.
It'd have to be you. Come on.
He was there. How many seasons was Andy there? 3 seasons.
Was he come in January 2011, and then
It's a
Brendan
50-50,
got rid of
you know.
him 2012, didn't he? He wasn't there long.
Me.
You, yes.
I don't know.
62 plays 58.
Oh,
Five
wow.
out of 6.
Not bad. Right up there.
So yeah, so well done everyone.
With a
Thanks
lot
very
of
much.
Brompton, though.
A lot of help, yeah.
No need for that, Steve. Just be upbeat for a
Fair to
change.
see. Fair to see.
It's tough.
Brompton.
You know?
Well, that's it, folks. Thanks again for watching episode 24. See you next time, 25. From Peter, from James, from Bill, from Macca, from Martin.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you very much.